Arsenal 2, West Ham United nil. This was a tricky game for Arsenal, especially because the last two seasons, Arsenal has played West Ham at home and gotten beat 1-0. I think that, in fact, I think they got beat three times. Maybe, I'm trying to think because I think it was 2023. Yeah, 2023. I think it was during the Christmas or December. David Moyes took West Ham and beat them 1-0, and then last year they beat them 1-0 as well at the Emirates. Now going to West Ham, that's not a problem. We can beat them at their place, but the past two seasons, West Ham has beaten Arsenal 1-0, and now you got a new manager, Nuno Espirito Santos, or Nuno as he's known as. I believe that's what he goes by. Coming in, he's a solid manager. He was a good manager for Nottingham Forest. Took them to Europe, but got fired for Ange Postecoglou, which is one of the most bizarre decisions I can think of. But it is what it is, and he comes in and he gets a good result against Everton, and then they play Arsenal. And like I said, this is a tricky game for Arsenal because Arsenal has not been very good at home against West Ham. But to be fair, this was a professional performance, and I just saw Manchester United. Okay, Manchester United just beat Sunderland. Good for them. Okay, that's they're going to talk about where can Amorim win 2 games in a row. He's going to have to. His next game is at Anfield, so that's going to be pretty difficult for them. But that's I digress. But Arsenal wins 2-0 against West Ham. Declan Rice scores in the 38th minute, and Bukayo Saka scores in the 67th minute on a penalty, which I thought happened outside the box, to be fair to West Ham. I thought the foul by the West Ham player, Doof, I thought he caught who did he foul? I know it was Timber. I thought he caught Timber outside the box, and I thought it was going to be a free kick outside the box for Arsenal, but instead the penalty was upheld and Saka put it in. And again, like I said, this was a very professional performance by Arsenal. And you actually had a lineup here that I thought you'd see against Olympiacos. I thought you would switch the lineups. I thought the lineup that we had against Olympiacos would be the one we'd have against West Ham, and the one we'd have against West Ham would be the one against Olympiacos, because you had Raya in goal, Gabriel and Saliba. Those were the two center backs as usual. But Calafiori and Timber were the outside backs this go around. When you had Ben White and Lewis Skelly as the outside backs against Olympiacos, I would have thought you would have switched that. You had Declan Rice, Eze, and Odegaard. Now, Odegaard played against Olympiacos, but Mourinho and I think Zubamendi played against Olympiacos, where you had Rice, Odegaard, and Eze today. And Eze, and it's the Odegaard, that's probably the only bad thing about the game is that Odegaard had to go off injured, which is pretty poor for Arsenal's standpoint, but it is what it is. And yeah, you had Trossard, York Ayers, and Saka up front. But again, like I said, it is what it is. It's a fantastic. It really is a professional performance by Arsenal, and now they're top of the league. Now they're top of the league right now as I record this, but Liverpool plays Chelsea later on in the day. Liverpool could beat Chelsea and go back on top. They can draw with Chelsea, and let me see here, goal differential. Well, if they drew, then Arsenal would stay at the top of the league. So if Liverpool beats Chelsea, then Liverpool will be at the top of the league. If Liverpool draws with Chelsea, Arsenal will still be at the top of the league on goal difference. And of course, if Chelsea beats Liverpool, then Arsenal will stay up top on top of the Premier League. And again, that's actually like something that I wouldn't mind seeing. But again, I'm not going to lose any sleep if Liverpool beats Chelsea, and we're 2 points. That's perfectly fine. and that puts us 2 points in front of Spuds and 2 points ahead of Bournemouth. And good to see Crystal Palace plays tomorrow, and Sunderland got beat today. So it's pretty tight up at the top in the early part of the season. This is only the seventh game, but again, it really was a professional performance by Arsenal. If you look at the stats, I'm going to bring up the stats here in a second. Here, if you look at the stats, Arsenal, and this will tell you how dominant Arsenal was. It was 69. It was more help than you think. Sometimes help. Yeah, if you look at the stats, Arsenal had 69% possession to 32% by West Ham. 5 shots on goal by Arsenal, 0 by West Ham. 21 shot attempts by Arsenal, 4 by West Ham. 14 fouls apiece, 2 yellow cards for West Ham, none for Arsenal. No red cards. 3 corner kicks to West Ham, 8 for Arsenal. 3 saves by West Ham, 0 by David Raya, which explains why there were no. Like I said, David Raya did not have a lot to do in this game, and like I said, this was a professional performance by Arsenal. Again, but to be fair, West Ham defended well, and I thought they played fairly decent in this game. They weren't embarrassed, but they were definitely forced back by Arsenal. And again, like I said, this was a professional performance, a good solid performance, a good solid 2-0 victory. Wasn't too flashy, wasn't too elaborate, just was a decent performance, a good solid performance by Arsenal. They get the win, 2-0, good for them. And, again, you had a good goal by Declan Rice, who didn't celebrate because it was against his former club of West Ham. But like I said, Saka's goal, penalty, very nice. I wish I would have given it to York Ayes. I wish he would have given it to York Ayes. I realize Saka is the penalty kick taker when he's on the pitch, but I wish he would have given it to York Ayes because I think York Ayes deserves a goal for the work he's put in. He's done outstanding for Arsenal, even though he hasn't scored a lot of goals. He has worked his tail off, and you can see that as he plays. But, Arsenal's, I'm just looking at the square right now, Arsenal's top of the league with Liverpool. Liverpool's at second place, and they play today. Again, we'll see how it all pans out. But a good solid professional performance by Arsenal. Please click like, share, and subscribe, and have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.